Welcome back to the final part of the tutorial. In this video we'll be refining our image to hopefully some sort of final finished piece. Alright, so what we're going to do first is just do a multiply layer and sort of draw a square out and then erase a bit. And use that to just block out the sky, the shade of the sky. Now keep in mind everything has been sped up because this is across several hours, so don't be worried if you can't paint this speed, because I can't paint this speed either. I've sped it up mostly because this is the longest part. Doing details, just when you get stuck on little details you can spend hours on them. Just using hue saturation again to get the right sort of look to the sky. Just re-adding those God rays back in to sort of cover up the ship a bit. It's pretty self-explanatory if you've watched the previous tutorials what I'm doing. Most of this stuff is the exact same method that we used earlier. How we pick colors around it and just refine it. Now I'll be going to, well, I won't be going to like finished quality on this image, but I'll be taking it a fair distance to the point where you can sort of see how I finish it, and then I'll skip the kind of the boring part where I just go around on almost a pixel level and clean up some of the lines and stuff. That just is the exact same method that we're doing here on, you know, a much finer scale. So I'm keen to hear, as this is the last tutorial, I'm keen to hear what you guys would like to see in future tutorials if I do some more, because while it does depend on the amount of interest in this tutorial. So if you have any cool ideas for tutorials, hit me up on my Twitter at Farmergnome. Just moving some stuff around. I think perspective was a little off on the fireplace. It's always good to flip your canvas and just close your eyes and reopen them and see, you know, if you see anything different. It's a good way to refresh your eyes. It may sound retarded, but it actually helps a lot. If you're ever stuck, it's probably like a good way to try and figure out the next part to paint, or what you need to do next. Again, even now I'm still moving things around, and this is the final video, so never be afraid to like rearrange your details. And I said in the first video, if you don't have your composition, you know, really sorted, then you can spend a lot of time later doing this, and that's exactly what I'm doing. This is a lesson in itself. I think most of it came from not having a very clear idea of what I wanted to paint initially. I just walked into this saying I'm going to have something with a fireplace for a tutorial, so now I'm not actually sure I'll fit the whole of my details into the tutorial, but I'll do my best to explain the final parts to it anyway. So as I mentioned earlier, everything's just refining shapes and, you know, moving stuff around and getting the right balance, I guess. So this will be the third tree revision. Kind of like that. I never really thought about it till now, but it kind of looks like the windswept tree in the distance, so. Just trying to create, I'm not sure it works, it feels really cluttered behind the player at the moment. Yeah, we'll lose the crate. Just fog that out a bit so it's not so in our faces. Just using an overlay layer there, I think. Yeah, overlay with black. Yeah, overlay layers are a really powerful tool that I pretty much constantly use. Just adding a bit of red around from the fire. Alright, we're almost at the point where I feel like I'm happy with it, to the point where I'm just gonna sit here and refine shapes for the next couple of hours. I might do a series on detailing later in the future, which just focuses on that if there's interest for it. So kind of leave it at some sort of semi-finished state, and I'll just blend to the finished image to save myself some time. But The fundamentals are the same. You just sort of use the exact same tools that got you this far, just on a more, I guess, a more fine level. Just keep refining, keep going with it, basically. Now, probably the final thing that I do on an image before it gets done is like a final color overlay. Like, I mean, it looks fine here, but there's just too much going on color-wise. I usually try and unify it with usually just a color bomb. Like, I'll put like a giant blue overlay layer across everything, and, you know, try and match up some of the colors to try and, well, in this case, I'm going to try and center it towards the fireplace. But I usually do that right at the end. It's getting close, like, I won't detail this too much further. You know, once it looks alright from a distance, I think that's about the right time to do the final color check and just go into... I mean, once you enter that detail mode, you don't change any of the major shapes anymore. Like, once you go into spending, you know, several hours just detailing up random small things, you don't want to be thinking about the giant picture anymore, so the giant picture has to be perfect. Alright, I'll just quickly bomb the scene with blue using an overlay layer. So if you're curious about the detail phase, I'll put the files up on my website for the you know, the extra detail phases I go to beyond this video. So if you're genuinely interested in seeing the details go from this to the finished product, then check out the Photoshop files on my website. And I think that's pretty much good for now. I think I'll just fade in the final image. So yeah, hopefully this has been somewhat interesting or somewhat educational. If you have a question, just hit me up on Twitter at Farmergnome. Thanks for watching.